Hey guys, welcome to Good News York. It's Tuesday Newsday again. We're gonna. It feels like that was like yesterday. Did we just?
Yeah.
Wasn't it just Tuesday?
Funny you say that. When I was prepping for Tuesday Newsday, I was like, wasn't Tuesday Newsday like 2 days ago?
Yep.
But no, time flies.
Hey,
Time flies.
especially when you're having fun.
And we are.
And we're kicking off this Newsday with a guest.
Yeah. Gregg Ordon, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Photographer extraordinaire. This was the strangest morning for me because I came in. I was told we're getting headshots done.
Okay.
And I was just like, sure, sounds great. Well, I met Amanda, our new, what's her job title? I don't want to say the wrong.
She's our operations person.
Operations person. Her first day, my first day meeting her, and I said, nice to meet you. And then we hopped in a car, me, her, and Danny, and we got pictures taken together.
There you go.
And it was awesome.
Cool picture.
It was a very unique experience. I can't wait
Yeah.
to talk about it. This guy's, he's the real deal.
So, just to be clear, you went to his place.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we went to his studio.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit. Tell me about the studio.
Well, it's funny because when you pull in, it kind of has the effect. It's a big parking lot, like with like a horseshoe of doorways, almost like a motel, but it's all business.
Fair enough.
I said if I was scouting for a film,
Office
it'd
complex.
be a great like scene for a shootout. But
Okay.
but there were no shootouts.
Fair
Good
enough.
news. You went inside, gorgeous studio. You're part of Retro Game Con.
I am.
So, so there was a lot of really cool stuff as far as Retro Game Con. But the
Sweet.
studio, I mean, this was the real deal.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, when I do impressions of like photographers and I'm trying to be funny, I do the whole like, all right, look left, give me something sassy, close up, look sexy, pretend you're holding a Subway sub, sing into the camera, do TLC, preferably Scrubs. I want you to sing that. Yeah, he was very, Gregg, you're a very hands-on, that's what you want from a photographer.
Yeah.
And that's what he gave us.
You want someone direct
Yeah, you want someone who's direct. I need direction, so.
that can take
So-
control.
Enough of Mike's review. Gregg, tell us a little bit about
Let's hear your point of
your business and what you do and the type of folks that you help.
So I'm a portrait headshot photographer. That's kind of what I've settled in as far as photography. About 20 years ago, I was kind of a generalist as a photographer. I would shoot anything and everything just to make a buck. And the problem with that is, as you know, when you're generalist, you compete on price. So you don't compete on skills. You compete on the next guy or your competitor because he's going to charge $50. Well, I'm going to charge $25 because
Sure.
you're trying to get that business. And problem is, it's a race to the bottom. And so about 3 to 4 years ago, I did a soul searching. I said, I don't want to be a generalist photographer. I want to actually niche in a couple fields, and that's it, and get very good in those two fields. So basically, all I do right now is events, and I do portraits and headshots. And I've spent probably the last year and a half really focusing on headshots. Gone to several workshops. One of them is with Peter Hurley in New York City, and really learning his style, his technique,
Wow.
and how he gets the headshots that he does, because that's the style that I really like. And it sets me apart from other photographers.
Sure.
And again, it's allows me to charge what I charge without having to apologize for it or
Yeah.
have it be the first part of a conversation. Usually the first part for me is, I like your work. How can we work together?
What is it about a headshot specifically that you're able to dig deep into? What is it about that you found interesting, and how do you make it unique, kind of, for folks that aren't familiar with the style you've referenced?
So for me, again, and I'm going to compare it to event photographer. An event photographer, say if I'm there for 2 days for an event, I'm shooting thousands of photos and I have an interaction with someone for about 10 seconds.
Gotcha.
And then I'm on to the next part of that event to try to capture the event as a whole. So I don't really get a chance to get to know people, get to talk to people. And that's the one thing I really do enjoy. So as a headshot photographer, you have no option. Like, you have to kind of get to know someone. You have to kind of get into their psyche a little bit. You have to converse with them and be able to have a conversation, but also you have to kind of be a counselor to them. Like, most people don't like a camera pointing in front of them.
Sure.
And usually it's a negative reaction they have because they usually have some sort of Sears high school portrait or a high school portrait trauma.
Right.
Or they said, hey, come into the studio here, sit on this, rackety chair, do a weird pose, and you're like, and then a couple flashes later, you're like, okay, next. And
It was always jam the fist. I never.
Yeah.
I was talking
Yeah.
about that.
yeah,
I remember going.
Punch yourself in the face.
My brother and I.
I feel like it was just a
kids,
running
my
joke.
mom took us to Syracuse, and I can only explain it. The only memory I have is it was, you know, in gymnastics, the horse that they vault over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was like that, but with
It was
carpet on.
the
it.
weirdest bench.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
you do that, and it was just very unnatural. And to put some you know, context to it, I was obviously making a joke earlier, you know, making light of how intense he can
Sure.
be, but it is what you want from a photographer, and
No, it's
and
that personality that he's.
yeah, and I've worked with, I've gotten headshots done in the past, and this was the first time I worked in a studio of that caliber, but also with someone who took my joke and made it a reality. You know, he was like, "Hey, give me this." Go. I will say, he wanted me to. His thing is to have your neck forward, like this,
yeah.
right?
I call it.
But literally, this, so it feels very unnatural.
Sure.
But he assured me that, I'm telling you, it
You
feels
should
weird.
not
But
do
wait, and then you look at the picture and you're like, oh, I don't look like that. But it feels very weird.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want to go to a photographer that's gonna give you the absolute top of the line experience,
Yeah.
Gregg Ordon, this is the
Yeah.
guy right here.
That's incredible. So, Greg, tell us a little bit about who and why do people get headshots? You know, who's the target audience for this, and why are they getting them?
For me, my target audience is really corporate America,
Okay.
and basically pretty much anyone that needs to update a headshot. You know, I kind of target LinkedIn quite a bit.
Gotcha.
But it's really anyone that wants to elevate their brand, as I call it, like level up their brand. A lot of people on LinkedIn have selfies. They have, you know, a
Sure.
photo they cut themselves out of a group photo because that's the best photo they found of
Yeah.
themselves, or they'll try to take a photo of themselves. Like I get that a lot. Like, hey, I try to have a photo taken of myself with my own camera against a wall, and I can't get it to look like your photo.
Yeah,
So they
right.
call my
Imagine
stu-
that.
So they call my studio to get that type of work.
Sure.
And again, it's those type of people that also, the ones I really enjoy working with are the ones that say that they don't have, or they can never get a good photo of themselves. Like they just, and
Gotcha.
part of being the photography part is easy. Like, you know, taking a photo, that's the easy
That's a
part of it,
technical
right?
thing,
It's a technical thing. You know, once you get the technical side out of the way, now you have a human being in front of your camera that has all their issues. They have, you know, self-loathing. They, you know, talk about down about themselves, and so part of what I do that I think I do very well in is I can be empathetic. Like I know how that feels. I
Sure.
have had those same feelings myself when a camera's pointed at me, and trying to get into their headspace, you know, basically be a counselor to them, listen to their issues too, and not just take a photo like, oh, this is the best photo of yourself, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not about me at that moment. It's about the person in front of my camera. And so when I'm shooting stuff, you're seeing it in real time. You're seeing the photos come on the screen, and it's a chance for both of us to evaluate what the images look like, you know, what I can do to be better, what you can do to be better. And it's also being frank with them, like, you know, not trying to pretend to not say something because you're afraid to hurt their feelings,
Yeah.
but actually be direct. Like, hey, you know, you're not tilting your head correctly, or you know what, when you're smiling, you know, one side of your face is smiling, but the other's not.
Yeah.
You know, and so when people can see that stuff in real time, they start reacting to it. And when it's also not being done in a mean or judgmental way, I'm just here to help you out.
Yeah.
And that, you know, the trust barriers, or that the barrier that they have, starts to go down, and like they start to trust the process. They trust me, and I trust them too. So, you know, at the end, you know, if you see images from someone that first came in the studio to right before they left for this final session, night and day. Like, you know, it's the expression changes, and they become real expressions. They become a real response to something, instead of like, oh, I don't want to respond in front of this person because I'm
Yeah.
afraid of how I look. So,
And to back him up, he is not afraid to tell you. In fact, at one point he said, "Stop, give me less trying to look like Frank Sinatra. Oh no, let's go less serial killer here." My favorite part though is when you first got behind the camera and you went, "Ooh," and I went, "Oh, that's a bad start."
I never said that before, but just kidding.
No, I
So,
know. But no, it's great, and you want someone that direct, you know?
Yeah.
Because you did make me end up, you know, feeling comfortable and feeling more confident, and
That's awesome.
that's what you want from your photographer.
That's awesome. Greg, Greg, let's talk a little bit about just the basics of how it works. So, how long is a session, and how far in advance should people book if they got a big event coming up, or I need a new business card? What's your advice along those lines?
So as far as the last part of that, as far as how far in advance they can book, I can pretty much work with anyone. I can try to fit them in a schedule, but my studio does book up pretty fast in
Yeah.
a week. So the quicker they know about it, the better. Just call and say, hey, I have a online scheduling calendar that I use.
Awesome.
But sometimes it's already booked. So if they can't find time, just call me and we'll figure out something. As far as the turnaround time on the photos, from the time they get shot to the time I deliver, it's about a day, 2 days.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty quick for them
Yeah.
to get them in hand. Like actually the photos I took of you and Amanda, I had those, they're pretty much done already, sent to Danny there for
Incredible.
review.
It's all-
But as far as the process and how long the session is, it really varies on the person and the human in front of me.
Gotcha.
It's, some people, I've had CEOs come in that are camera ready, that understand that process, that have had training. So they warm up pretty quickly. They don't have 2 hours to spend. They have 10 minutes,
Sure.
but they already understand what's going on. So they kind of follow direction with it. I also have people that come into the studio that don't have any camera experience. They never had a camera pointed in front of them, but in a negative way.
Yeah.
Mm.
And now that person, it takes time to, again, break down their walls to get past their own barriers to get images out of them that resemble who they are. So that could take 10 minutes. It could take 20 minutes. I've had clients take an hour, hour and a half.
Gotcha.
And again, it's just patience. So, this part of the session fee that I charge, I don't have a time limit on it.
Uh-huh.
It's just how long it takes to get it done.
Sure.
I have people bring in multiple outfits, multiple looks. So sometimes, guys and women are the same. Like they have clothing that they feel comfortable in and
Yeah.
clothing they don't feel comfortable in. And sometimes when they come in for a headshot, they bring the stuff they are uncomfortable in because that's the image they think they're supposed to look at.
Right.
And say, hey, we're going to take those images. We're going to get those out of the way. Let's try some other things. And you put them in comfortable clothing that best represents who they are, their personality starts to change. So it's kind of listening to their needs, but also kind of being direct, not, at some point, my job is to take the pressure off of them, right? They're not there to have me ask them questions. They're there to have a picture taken and have some direction given to them
Sure.
on what to do. So again, that can take 20 minutes, 10 minutes,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I love that, part of your business model, I guess, is you don't put a time on it. And I think from a creative standpoint, I think that's good. I think it's important because from someone who
Yep.
now was one of your clients, I don't feel inclined to have the pressure of because like you said, you might be working with someone who's not comfortable in this, and now you add a time limit and they start thinking so I don't know if you took that into consideration on purpose, but I think that's great that you do that.
And that's just part of, going through the workshops that I've gone through and just also shooting a lot of people that you start realizing that everyone's different. No one, I don't have the same person that comes in the studio act the same way.
Sure.
So you have to kind of, like here, every time that someone comes into your studio, you kind of have to figure out how they act and kind of
100%.
mimic it a little bit. Because clients like that familiarity. Like,
Yeah.
so if someone comes in all quiet and timid and like, hey, I'm, welcome to the studio. Like,
That was me.
they're going to be like, hold on a second. Like,
Yeah.
But again, if someone comes in all, wild, full of energy, I have to match that energy.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and again, but you also have to kind of push back on the energy too. Like, okay, save that for the session. We're going to, but it just really varies on the person that's in front of me.
I got you.
And like I said, it's, I really care about what I do with the clients too. And part of what I do is also really like to lift them up. Like it's not, never about me. It's about the person in front of me.
Yeah.
And that's really what I'd like to do.
And that
I love
and that goes into we had a conversation at your studio about AI, and AI is great for a lot of things, specifically post-production. But I said I am from a firm believer in you'll never beat human interaction, and that's a perfect example of the way you're reading your clients, reading the room, knowing what to say and how to say it. You're not going to get that with AI or even the way I watched him touch up the photos after. I mean, this isn't like we're choosing a filter on Instagram. I mean, these are nuanced. There was one, Matt, that said armpit something. I was like, there's an armpit filter? Like, it's very nuanced, and you're not going to get that with I mean, I guess that is AI, but you know what I'm saying? It's just the human element of it is so important.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you think about photographs or marketing or branding, anything like that, a headshot is the most human thing you could have.
Yep.
So,
Right.
you know, if there was ever a place to save the technology for, you know, at least after the shots are taken.
It's your personal brand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what I tell people too is, you know, if they're on the fence on investing in this, is when you're on LinkedIn looking at other people's profiles, the statistic of someone that stays on your profile is about 3 seconds.
Hmm.
You have 3 seconds to capture their attention from your profile, or they're moving on. So if your profile is not up to snuff as your competitors, you know, sorry, not sorry, but they're going to go on to the, you know, it's a impression first platform.
Sure.
So what you're saying is I should just find a better looking person to use in my photos.
Stop it.
So-
We talked about you, actually.
Oh, Jesus.
Here's another reason why this guy's so great. He was talking about wardrobe and said, "Look, Matt lives in hoodies," and he's like, "That's fine." He's like, "And we'll take a picture in that hoodie. Like, we'll make it look
I was
good. Capture
thinking
that's
about
who
it,
you
yeah.
are. That's your brand. So,
Yep.
it's good."
It's awesome, man. That's awesome. Greg, how do people find you? Before
so
we dip, we
they
should
can-
probably tell people.
They can find me on LinkedIn. They can find me on Instagram. LinkedIn, just look at, I think, Gregg Ordon, Ordon. I think Instagram is CNY Headshots 315. My website's gtophoto.com, which is in the current
Make
stages.
sure we put that up on the screen.
Current stages of being rebuilt, but it's good enough for what I need it for right now.
It'll get you there.
Yep.
Awesome.
And then my portfolio is up there, so
That's
they,
awesome.
They can also take a look at that work. So.
That's
So-
awesome.
and they have to also go to headshotcrew.com. If they look for photographers in Syracuse, New York area, they'll see my profile there. And that's actually where a really good body of my work is, and
Oh, wow.
the, you know, top-notch images that I have up there. So
Greg, do people typically come to you on an individual basis, or do you have companies that say, hey, we need to get a bunch of our folks headshots, sort of thing?
I have both. So
Yeah.
basically I do have the individuals, but then I also have, you know, the marketing people or the
Gotcha.
communication people that reach out, say, hey, we need to get group headshots for our employees, and can you come on site? And that's the, you know, so my entire studio that you saw, I have a traveling version of that basically can go on site.
Oh, wow.
And basically set up, you know, in a 10 by 13 space pretty much, and get those type of headshots that I get in the
Gotcha.
studio. So
That's great. That's awesome.
We had a great time, man. Thank you
you're welcome,
for
everyone.
having us. You guys will see the photos.
The
I think
results.
we have footage too. Danny took a lot of footage, so
Mike's,
a great time.
Mike's LinkedIn traffic is going to skyrocket.
look out. People are going to spend 4 seconds on my LinkedIn now,
You're
not
Yep.
3.
beat all the algorithms, buddy.
You know
I'm
this.
excited. I'm excited. Did you guys get pictures of Danny too?
No,
actually,
yeah.
I've gotten
Got it from
headshots
pre-
of Danny.
I know. I think I actually noticed that on your profile as I was zooming through. Like, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah.
But awesome.
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 Greg
I'm
Ordon.
excited.
Is it just Gregg Ordon Photography or
gtophoto.com.
gtophoto.com?
That's
Oh,
it.
is.
That's it. Greg, thank you so much for
You're
joining
welcome.
us
Thanks
and,
for having me.
and for having us at your place. We got some other team members who weren't there today, including myself, and we're gonna send them to you sooner than later as well.
All right,
So
can't wait.
I'm excited.
Make you guys look like rock stars on
That's great.
Before you go, though, turn your head to the left, chin forward, arms out.
He's trying to get some payback here.
So
Thanks.
you're welcome.
And we will be back with all of the news.
Tuesday Newsday.
All right,
Almost.
not all the news, but some.
Some of the news.
We'll give you some news. Yeah.
Next. The
We're
coffee.
back.
Oh, we're back.
It's Tuesday Newsday
It's Tuesday Newsday officially.
on Good News York. We are back. Great. Thanks for having our buddy Greg stop by earlier
Gregg
in
Ordon.
the show. Take some great
Ordon.
photographs of the team here.
It feels like it's 4:00 in the afternoon because we had a busy, I showed up.
The only way I know it's Tuesday is because I just bought a new clock that's in front of us that
I know.
has the date or the day.
Is the time, the date. The only thing that pisses me off, my OCD, is it's Celsius. And my
There's
brain-
got to be a switch.
Yeah,
There's got to be.
I'm sure there is.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's wonderful. We're really moving on up. By the way, shout out. I walked in and we have a new operations manager, whatever her title is going to be. Amanda is now
Yeah.
part of the team. I've never met somebody and then right away got in a car and went and got headshots done with them. But I highly recommend it because if you really want to get to know someone, go get headshots done with them. She's very lovely. So welcome to the team, Amanda. I wanted to mention
It's
that.
like one of those jobs where you got the work crew and they just stuff you all in a truck and
Yeah, crew cab.
ride
I figured
together
out what
for
that
3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, what that meant when I bought a truck. Like, it's a
Luckily,
crew
you don't-
cab. I'm like, that sounds cool.
Did it
And I
come with
realized-
the crew?
Yes, that was the hard part is
Fair.
because I had nowhere for them to sleep, but we figured it out. Air mattresses and stuff like that. Shout out! It's our friend's birthday, Phil Farda.
Yeah.
Yay! That's all I got. I don't have a
The,
song for- Happy
Funniest
birthday, Phil.
man in the 315.
I love him.
It's his birthday today.
Yeah.
So we celebrated his birthday actually this weekend. We went out with a bunch of folks, and I want to talk about this because
Yeah.
we, to celebrate, we had some food at a great restaurant in Utica, but then we went to this new pinball arcade business.
Oh, I
in
didn't know
Marcy.
you went there.
Yeah. Two Cousins, it's called. Now, here's a funny story. While I was there, I actually ran into one of my cousins.
That's
And
fucking.
that's a true story. And you want to talk about truth
Ironically.
in advertising. I mean, this place really nailed it. But
That's unbelievable. Sorry, my head's exploding. So it's called Two Cousins.
that's the name of the business.
You went there and unplanned, you ran into one of your cousins.
Yeah.
So there were two cousins there.
It's true.
This is unbelievable.
My cousin Carrie and her family. Yep. But anyway, we were there.
Don't go to Dick's Sporting Goods.
Jesus.
It's fine.
That's good. That was good. Thank you. So we were there for Phil's birthday party. We brought a group of people, and it was really cool. So how the place works is it's an unlimited play. You know, you can either buy an hour or you can buy forever, I guess. Well, that day. So I think it was like $15 for an hour, $25 for unlimited play. There's no quarters. There's none of that. So all the machines, you just walk up and play a game, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
They had a really good number of machines. So there was a good crowd. I mean, we brought 10 people, and there was a good number of people in there. But still, there was always at least one machine available you could walk up to and play a game. You didn't have to really wait. And, you know, I don't know that we played all that. We only played for an hour. And I don't know that I hit every machine. So,
You tried.
yeah, I tried to, as much as there's a few that I really liked, you know, and you play a couple games on them. But really, in a place like that, it's like, just move on and, you know, give other people a chance, but also try all the different ones. So
Is it more of like an arcade feel, or is it like more of a bar room with?
yeah, so that's a great question. It's definitely not a bar. They don't have a bar, is my understanding. They did have a separate room where they had some food, pizza, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in the main area, it is, I guess you'd say, a lot like kind of an old school arcade. So they had the games around the perimeter of the room. In the middle of the room, they had like an air hockey table, foosball table, some seating where you could just sort of
Nice.
hang out.
Strictly pinball, or do they have other arcade games?
They had just a couple other games. Everything else is pinball.
It's kind of like when you go to like a seafood restaurant, they throw a couple chicken dishes on the menu
Yeah.
just to make everybody
Yeah.
happy.
Well, I mean, I think that's their main focus is pinball, which is cool as hell. But
So I mean, I consider myself a bit of a gamer. And I mean, if you were a 90s kid, you definitely loved arcades. Is there, I've never really thought about this. Is there like the holy grail of pinball machines? You know what I mean? Like, is there one
Dude.
that's like the Babe Ruth rookie card?
I'm sure there is.
But you don't know which
as
one.
much as I've enjoyed playing in the last month, I went to Vegas. I went to the Pinball Hall of Fame there. I'm not like a pinball aficionado to that
Yeah.
degree. I bet there is, though. I'd be interested.
I'd love to,
find that out.
yeah. If we get them on the show, we'll have to ask them.
Because I'll tell you what I really loved the most when I was at the Pinball Hall of Fame, and same here at this place, they had a couple in this vein were the very old machines. The machines from like the 70s.
Yes.
And the reason why is they're a little different. You know, some of them are actually totally wood, and they're definitely more simple. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I found them to be a lot more fun, and they had a few of those kind of classic ones. You know, they've got the space characters. That's that classic
Yes.
70s cartoon style character, and it's I don't know. To me, that's kind of fun. So
No, it's absolutely awesome. And I'm curious to know, like, do you think that maybe you would have been, like, do you think you went to Two Cousins first and then went to Vegas? Like, because you went to Vegas, you went to, like, this.
the Mecca.
The Mecca, and then you went to Two Cousins. And I'm not slighting, two cousins by any means,
Yeah.
but did that take away from it?
Not at all.
Good.
What was funny is I bought a Pinball Hall of Fame shirt when I was in Vegas, and I wore that when we went there.
Nice.
And I told my wife, you watch, I'm gonna look like a ringer walking in with
Oh,
these.
yeah.
And sure enough, we walked through the door, and the owner of the place came up to me and started asking me about it. He hadn't been there, so he was asking me, what they had to offer and how it was set up and stuff like that. It was
That's
kind of cool.
awesome.
But no, I don't think it. Obviously the one in Vegas has immensely more machines,
Yeah.
but like I said, we played for a good long time and didn't hit the same thing twice. So I think that was a pretty solid
There's
experience.
There's a handful of arcade games that are, huge nostalgia to me. And it's probably based around the Sangertown Mall in Utica, New York, because that's where I grew up. But I also, I remember going to bowling alleys. My mom was in a bowling
that was
league
right next
at
to
the Panorama.
theater at
Yes.
the mall.
right around the corner from Taco
At some
Bell.
point, they had another one across the hall.
Yes.
Sort of came and went. But the core one was that one
Yeah,
that had been.
it was the best. But I would say for me,
that is an arcade.
yeah, oh yeah. And I asked, is there a holy grail of pinball machines? For me, there's like a handful of holy grails of just straight arcade games.
Yeah.
For me, it's like when I think back to my childhood, I think of the Aerosmith gun game. Remember the Aerosmith?
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Made no sense, like why they threw Aerosmith in this gun shooting game. I loved the Ninja Turtles, where you could play 4 players.
That is a classic.
That was a classic. I would say WrestleMania. WrestleMania, kind of same deal. You could play 4 across. I know I'm missing one. That's a real.
And there were the classics like Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
the
Street Fighter.
I see like there's always some kind of Terminator shooting game.
Yep. Street Fighter.
But in terms of, I don't know, Danny's the king of retro games.
He's also 10 years younger though. So
You got any input on this, buddy? Is
Yeah.
there any particular like arcade machine that's really well known?
Yeah, one of them is The Simpsons.
Yes,
Okay.
I was going to go there next.
That's an iconic arcade one. It's the 4-player Simpsons
Yep.
one. You'd see like Soul Calibur in there along with the Mortal Kombat arcade cabinets. I feel like in a good arcade, you would want to see a Donkey Kong arcade
Yep.
cabinet and
Couldn't agree more.
a Miss Pac-Man and
Gotta have it.
Galaga combo.
Gotta
I feel like
have
that
it.
was very common back then.
Yeah,
He's hitting all the hits.
he is hitting all the hits.
There's one I want to ask Danny. You might know down at 3 Lives downtown, kind of the gamer bar. If you haven't been there, we're talking about a slightly different place now, but downtown Syracuse is totally cool. They had this one though that was a Japanese game that I personally wasn't familiar with, but apparently was super hot, very the arcade Japanese game to play. Do you remember what it's called by any chance?
Hope it was it 1941?
It's like no, oh, Jesus.
No, literally there was a
No, it's
game
like
called 1941.
It's something that
And I wanted to make a
know
Pearl
well.
Harbor joke.
And,
That's obvious.
And I'm not one of them, so I don't know if you know what it is.
I don't know off the top of my head.
We're gonna have to.
I'm not kidding you. It might be 19.
Add them to the list of because that's one of the coolest places in Syracuse.
All right.
We need to
Do
some cool stuff with that.
I do remember there was always, I feel like every arcade I went to, there was this shooting game that really wasn't that good, but every arcade had it. There was
What's
a
the
blue gun and a
Terminator?
red gun.
That's the Terminator one.
No, I feel like if it was, I would have loved the Terminator. It was
You're thinking of Time Splitters?
Time. That sounds right.
Yeah, Time Splitters.
Okay.
Was there a pedal you stepped on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like
Oh.
Hated
6 or 7 Time Splitters.
The greatest one I ever played was down near the city. My mom's family was close to the city. This was in the 90s. It was and you got to remember back then this was like mind blowing. It was so you watched this video where you were in the Wild West with this old guy who was a prospector, and he was kind of the host of the game. And you would go through this town and you would shoot the old school, where they go, and then they fall. But it was live video, and it was just the coolest. Like now I see all the games and it's so outdated, but that was one I forget what it was called, but
We need to find. I'm going to put this out there right now. We need to find a gaming sponsor who would cover the costs, and will aggressively advertise their brand, of course.
okay.
But cover the costs for us to do some dedicated arcade content. Like I want us to travel to some of the unfortunately few, or maybe growing number, as we're talking about the 2 cousins just opening up. I feel like this maybe this is something coming back, but
I don't know.
we should do a sort of road trip tour style Because like there's a place in Old Forge that's kind of a classic old arcade that's pretty
Yes.
cool. There's
Near Enchanted Forest?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's
oh,
a
yeah.
bunch of these random places that
Sylvan Beach.
still exist.
Sylvan Beach. My parents lived there. There's the
Is that still they still
the
got that?
carousel with all the arcade games. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, that place.
Legendary.
But something like that, I would love to do and really highlight some of these things and find that out because
That would be
I
great.
know there's got to be one of these or a few of these kind of holy grail.
Grail.
Uh,
There's also a ton of, because, back in my drinking days, there are a ton of dive bars everywhere in this country, but definitely in New York State. You'll find some random gem arcade games in a dive
So,
bar. You'll be like, how is this
It's
here?
funny you mention that because I was going to say this is not necessarily an arcade game, but if you want to talk about the really well-known OG, it's going to be
Shuffle?
Topgolf.
Oh, I was going to say shuffleboard.
In the bars, though.
Oh, you're talking about Golden Tee. Golden Tee.
Golden Tee.
Hell yeah.
Not in the arcades,
No.
but in the bars. It had a massive, massive following in tournaments and
Oh, dude. I bartended for so much. People would get in fights over that game because it had a modem. So you could play like your score uploaded to like a worldwide leaderboard. And these guys, man, these regulars took it so serious.
yeah, they figured it out.
One guy had a meltdown because he put the wrong initials in for the leaderboard.
Oh wow,
Yeah. And he had no one to fight but himself. So he just
Yeah.
took it out on everyone else.
right.
It was great.
They were one of the only, really, of that style game that sort of embraced that connectivity, at least at that time.
You're absolutely right. They were one of the first.
That's pretty wild.
And you're right. Like if you saw Gold Tee, I think it's
I
Golden.
think you're right. Golden Tee.
If you saw it in an arcade, it
I
didn't
said
have
Top
this,
Golf. That's the actual golf.
Yes. It has the same allure. It doesn't have the same allure as when you see it in a bar. Like it belongs in a bar.
Right.
I thought you were going to say shuffleboard. I love an old school shuffleboard in a bar, like the real deal.
Remember they had the
Salt.
electronic, the bowling.
Oh,
The shuffleboard
Yes.
style bowling that was
Course.
like the puck.
yeah.
They had the back room at Brownies. Remember that?
I will die on this hill. The absolute best barroom game is the plastic dome hockey, USA versus Canada.
Okay.
That to me is for infinity. It's one of the greatest games you can play. I don't care what age you are.
See, I'm
I
still
just
a
came across
foosball
one in
fan.
Canada not long ago. We went to Niagara Falls over the holidays, and they had one, and I could not believe it. I shit my pants, and not because I was excited. I have IBS, but I also played that game, and it was great. You know what I'm talking about? The plastic dome,
Yeah.
and and they got the it's magical.
And on that note, happy birthday, Phil Farda.
Happy birthday, Phil. You want to hear about some news?
Please.
All right, here's the good news. Actually, this isn't real. Well, so Matt, I'm so glad you don't
I'm
know about
nervous.
sports. No, because I want your take on this because
Okay.
you have a very unbiased take. You don't follow sports.
It's true.
Long story short, there was a quarterback that was supposed to go in the first round. Okay, and he's Deion Sanders' son. Do you know who Deion Sanders is?
Sure.
You heard the name?
Dion.
Okay, he doesn't. But yes. So he's one of the most famous athletes of all time, one of the greatest football players of all. It's his son.
Okay.
Here's the problem.
He sucks.
He doesn't suck. He's not that great.
Fair enough.
And he's as cocky as his father, if not more. He ended up sliding to like the fifth round, which is insane.
Okay.
And it became this huge,
That means everybody passed over him.
everybody passed over him. It became this very controversial thing on social media between media and fans. Some people thinking it was a racial thing. Some people thinking it was unfair. Some people thinking
Is it that folks just assume because he's a Nepo baby like this, he should just get his spot?
that's kind of where I err on the side of things. I think there
Like,
was
this is a business, right?
right.
You
There
should
was
build
a
a team that can win.
the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. When you draft him, you're going to get an above average player, and you're going to get a media circus. You're going to get his father chirping in your. There's a lot, but they turned it into this whole debate. But something that happened during the draft that was crazy
Okay.
was right around the fourth round. A video surfaced online where two kids, they look like they're college aged, pranked him. And what happens with football players is they keep their phone handy. right?
Call him and told me he made the team or something.
Right. So when you get drafted, usually the GM of the team
Yeah.
calls you and says, "Hey, buddy,
We got
we're
you."
going to take you next," right? So these college kids got
Oh,
his phone number,
shit.
took a video of themselves
Sure.
calling him and telling him, "Hey, we're from the Saints. We're going to draft you. Just kidding. You got to wait longer." And then video surfaced to the other side of him picking it up, and the poor guy's excited. Turns out the kids that made this call,
Yeah.
he's the son of one of the Atlanta Falcons coaches, and his dad left the laptop because nobody's supposed.
Got the number.
He got the number because you can't. I mean, only GMs would
Right,
have his
right,
number. So now the Falcons are in trouble. The coach is in trouble. Here's my take. 15-year-old me thinks it's fucking
It's
awesome.
a little funny.
Yeah, it's a little funny. Older Mike thinks, man, that's kind of shitty. So I'd love to know your take on that.
Well, so here's the first thing. For the kid, it's real shitty because
It is.
of what he did to his dad. For really no other reason, right? Like, that's one of the things, and of course kids never think about this, but you pull a prank, you get caught, haha, whatever, but the fact that you know where you got that and you know that that's going to reflect on somebody else, that's shitty
It is
of the kid, right? The
You sound
least
like
he could have
Dad.
done is find and get that number to somebody not connected somehow. I don't know.
Or don't film your face.
But yeah. The other side of that is, I guess I could see to some degree it's funny, but you're also fucking with this dude that's, this is the biggest point in his
It
career,
really is.
and you're gonna mess with him. That's not fair.
It's this is a prime example of when I say, and I think I've said it on this show, I thank God we did not have this kind of social media when we were in high school. I would have been dead or arrested. I would have done the dumbest shit. I mean, he's just a college kid being a college kid, but
I'm genuinely
Not
sort of
cool.
torn on the idea of pranks in general, and we all would joke around, and I think that's great.
sure.
But when you had things like Punked,
Yeah.
in some of those shows, and you'd see some of them. A lot of times, they made it very convincing that a real thing
Justin
was happening.
Timberlake cried.
And yeah,
Remember that?
people really react, or they take a swing at you.
Yeah.
And
I did a lot of pranks in high school. Like I put
I don't know.
fake poop in the carrots.
Little jokes here and there are one thing, but I don't know.
Then one
It
time I
was,
Criscoed the
It was a dumb move
auditorium,
by those kids.
the auditorium walkway, and this kid Jeff slipped and hurt his back, and I felt bad.
What's the
Yikes! So,
what's the consequence? What's going to happen? Or is that
well, it's under investigation. So I feel bad. I honestly, at this age, I feel bad, like you said, for the dad who's
in the grand
a
scheme of
coach.
things? There was a fucking phone call.
I know.
Let's not.
it's gonna
totally been out of
it'll
shape.
be over in 2 days.
You know
People
what
are
I
gonna
mean?
forget about it.
But yeah, that
But it was pretty wild to see that happening live, and man, yeah, that went viral real quick.
a lot of clicks for ESPN.
A lot of clicks for
They
ESPN.
probably should pay
Um,
that kid's legal bill.
yeah, it was pretty wild. I had something else I wanted to say about it, but I forgot, so I guess it doesn't matter.
All right.
But yeah,
What else we got?
well,
Knocking
there's my
over
coffee.
coffee.
Good thing it was empty. For you hunters out there,
Oh,
it may be time to consider changing the age limit for hunting in New York State. The youth turkey hunting season for kids in New York, currently in New York State, it allows for kids to hunt for turkeys before the regular season starts in May. All right,
so
the
it's
hunt.
just for kids portion of the season.
I guess so. Now, the hunt will be held over 2 days on the 26th and 27th of April, which happened 2 days ago,
Yeah.
right? Eligible hunters are youth from 12, 13, 14, or 15, holding a hunting license and turkey permit.
Okay.
Kids have to have an adult with them.
Okay.
But in many other states, the minimum age required for youth hunting is much lower than New York State. For example, bordering states like Pennsylvania start kids out before 10 years old. According to Pennsylvania hunting laws, kids can hunt as young as 7. So I don't know. At this point, there does not seem to be any action toward lowering the minimum age requirement in New York State. However, there are some hunters that feel they want their kids to start a little younger, and I don't know. That's a tough call.
Yeah, I don't know that we need to.
I don't know if we do either.
It's the year 2025.
Yeah.
I get that, and I got no problem with hunting.
No.
And I have no problem also with, firearm safety. And even at that younger age, I don't know if there's any law that says you can't begin to teach firearm safety, maybe even target shooting,
Mhm.
things of that nature.
Sure.
do they need to be hiking around in the woods with a firearm at that age? I don't know. I just don't know if I necessarily
Nerds.
see the value in that.
Yeah, I used to be very against hunting when I was younger because I have this whole scenario where I was like, I love the art of
You
hunting.
don't want to kill Bambi.
Well, kind of. Yeah, I love the idea of hunting. I
Yeah.
think it would be amazing. But then I have this part of me that goes, but what if I shot this deer and he was just on his way home from work and he was going to see his baby deer and I just shot him because Mike wanted to and
Right.
to eat some venison. So, but then I hit a deer multiple times with my car and had to
You're
pay
like,
for it.
"Fuck
And I'm
'em."
like, fuck them. And I was like, guns a-blazing, go get them, boys.
Truth be told, as many hunters will tell you, deer are actually sort of like giant rodents, and there's a little
That
bit,
makes,
there's a little bit of population control that's really.
no, it is a real thing.
Also, venison tastes really good, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm personally not a hunter myself. Again, I don't have anything against it, but I've just never been super interested in that part either.
Mm.
At the same time, a lot of people are. It's a lot of family tradition. It's a skill that I think we definitely don't want to lose because,
No.
God forbid, there might come a day when we need it to survive. But again, I just don't know what
Yeah.
the value is in having a 10-year-old
I agree.
take down his first
You want to
dog.
hear something wild? I mean, you
or
want
turkey. I guess in this case we're talking
Sure.
about, not even deer.
You want to talk about times changing. Now, this had to be 1996, 97. I don't know, 95, whatever.
I feel like that wasn't old times. What do you?
Herkimer High School in Mohawk Valley. That's where I grew up. This is a true story. I remember multiple times on hunting day, the principal would let the kids in Herkimer that hunted hunt, and then as long as you had a note, you would come in after you hunted in the morning.
Opening day. Yeah.
Here's the wild part. They didn't want you to keep your guns in the car.
Right.
Okay. So the principal would wait at the side door and you would bring your firearm in the school.
Holy shit.
No bullshit. I'm assuming unloaded. And he would walk you to your locker so that you could safely put it in your locker. Now, if you think about it,
Seriously?
I swear. I don't know why I knocked on wood. That made no sense. But I
Yeah.
swear to God. And now remember, this is the 90s. I don't want anyone emailing Herkimer School. This isn't going on
Right.
now. I'm assuming it kind of was this was before
Well, you're securing it the
Columbine.
same way they would in other.
It was before Columbine, before all that stuff. It was honestly safer for him to watch you put it
think
in the
you're right.
locker than just leaving it out
Yeah.
in the car. You
It's
know
just
what I
a
mean?
wild concept.
But we are so far removed from that.
Well, we've gotten to the point where there's been teachers, and maybe even there was one story I feel like it might have been a principal, was going hunting after work, had his gun secured, unloaded safely in the trunk where it should have been way out in the parking lot, but mentioned that fact that he, and he got arrested and all these things, like he brought a weapon to school to cause some sort of harm, So that's wild.
It is wild. And I also remember my neighbor was a hunter, and he had an old school Ford Bronco, which, God, it was gorgeous. Now that I'm looking back.
Yeah.
And he had this thing. It was like almost looked like a roller.
Was his last name Simpson?
No. It was,
A white
but
Bronco?
it would. So in the back, you know how like it was like a hatchback kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
right?
It was a weird.
So in the back, this roller was attached to the back seat, and then you would pull it, and it would cover the floor, and it was so you could put your guns in there. So and it was the same color as the upholstery, so it would
Gotcha.
look like there was nothing in there, so you could hide your guns.
Gotcha.
I
I think
but
they
again, these were all
I think that's
safety
just to
things.
store your gun, technically. But sure.
Which actually, now I know why OJ owned a Bronco.
See?
Put the knives in there. Anyway, this is so weird that I have to talk about it. It's great.
All right.
But when else is the Syracuse Regional Airport going to get some loving for the award they won for snow and ice control?
Yeah.
Come on. That's right. The Syracuse Regional Airport, operator of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, has won an award for snow and ice control efforts. They won the Balkan Post Award for Outstanding Achievement in Airport Snow and Ice Control for the Small Commercial Airport Agency.
Listen, I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, it's fine.
if there was ever an award to win and be proud of in Central New York,
You nailed it.
it is this one.
It really is.
Because I thought you were going to give us another award for how much snow
Nope.
we got. The golden
Nope.
snowball or whatever that bullshit is. This genuinely deserves recognition, and
It
I'm
does.
excited to hear about.
And the reason I pulled it is because it's such an obscure award. Obviously,
You need to give out more of these.
I'm citing CNY Central. That's where I got the story. So they did get some love on it.
Yeah.
But I was like, no one else is talking about. And I want to shout out to our airport crews
Yeah.
that keep us safe. To be considered
Right
for
here
this
behind us.
award, right here behind us, an airport must display excellence in the following areas.
No.
Now they give you criteria.
Damn.
Degree of in-depth preparedness, including a comprehensive snow and ice control plan, equipment readiness, personnel training, safety awareness. Effectiveness of snow and ice control program, examining how well the program kept aeronautical areas safe, on and on and on. Timeliness and accuracy of communications and post-storm activity, including cleanup.
Wow.
I just like that they keep track of this shit, because you ever sit on a plane, especially in the winter,
Yeah.
and you're watching them de-ice and you're going, are we gonna die today?
Mhm.
And it's good to know that they know what they're doing.
They
And,
keep the runways clear, and
they
you're
keep
not
the runways clear. And
skidding like we do on
shout
the
out
roads.
to Hancock and the crew there. We love you guys here at Good News York. Last but not least, this story is fascinating to me only because I want to know what he could have done to deserve this. Despite his recent induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Matt, I am sad to inform you that Chubby Checker will not perform at the New York State Fair in 2025. Chubby was not invited back, said his manager. She said, unfortunately, Chubby Checker,
Is this like a fat shaming thing?
could be, a fan favorite and staple at the New York State Fair over the years, will not twist again like he did last summer. That's god-awful. Fans, friends, and local media were hoping to see him at his annual show this summer. Fair representative told his manager that Chubby was not invited back. Here's the thing. They don't tell us why. So that begs the question I'm asking you. What are some things that Chubby Checker could have done to
There's
not be
another
invited
story that came out that said they're booking this new act this year called Fit and Healthy Checker.
Chubby Chess?
Yeah. We're
Ba-doom.
no
Come
longer
on, hit me.
Chubby in New York State. We know that's false. Here's the thing.
I mean,
Who gives a shit?
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Like, not to knock, and obviously he's still alive, so there's got to be people still alive who go to see him. But I can't imagine there are that many.
Well,
Completely
and
honest
what?
with you.
I mean, what's he gonna perform?
Retire.
Twist
Why-
over and over?
Can I ask this question? Like,
I have an answer actually.
when the fuck did retirement become a horrible thing
I
in the United States?
I do not.
Where is this idea that and who knows? God forbid, something could have happened, and this guy had a very successful career, but maybe he genuinely needs to generate the income. But I don't know. Like, we gotta make these people. I saw a video recently of Frankie Valli.
Oh God, I know
seen this
exactly where he looks like a Chuck E. Cheese
He looks
puppet.
animatronic. Like, they pumped him up
Mm-hmm.
on everything they possibly could, so he
It's-
would just stand there.
It's awful.
And it's like, come on, man!
But-
you're doing incredible artists a disservice
I'm gonna ruin this.
to show them this way.
Here's the thing. You are not wrong. It's the old, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right? There's athletes that people go, I think you should have retired 3 years
I
sooner.
mean this in every aspect of life,
But
especially politics.
I will ruin it by telling you, musicians, the reason you're seeing really, really old musicians, like Art Garfunkel wasn't touring, and now like
Sure.
he played at the State Theater years ago. That's because in the music business, albums aren't monetary anymore. They don't have, you used to be able to record an album and then you would make what they call mailbox money, right? You're making money while you're asleep, residuals.
Every time somebody buys it, they play it on the radio, whatever.
Bands and artists now make all their money on touring and merchandise. So when the mailbox money starts running out for Chubby Checker, he's got to get his chubby ass onto the tour bus, and he's got to perform to make money. And I mean, I can't prove that that's why he's touring, but I mean,
sure.
I mean that's the logical. But I got something else that's gonna make you feel like who gives a shit even more. I don't even think he wrote. I have to look that up. I don't think he wrote Twist. So it was written for him.
A lot of famous artists have it, but
It was like when Benny Mardones would play
I
every
don't know.
year at
I
the
feel like
casino. Love lift
and again,
us
I
up.
don't want
over
to.
and over.
I don't know the guy's personal situation, and I certainly don't want to knock him because
No.
everybody.
We love you,
but
Chubby.
It seems like if you're successful in life, I wonder if that point if he ever thought he was never going to live this long. So I don't need to make my money last till I'm 100.
Is he gonna twist
I'm gonna live
again?
till I'm 100, and now suddenly you're like, I'm broke and I'm 100.
Mhm.
But like somewhere along the line, I feel like there should be some sort of financial advisor and a plan that makes sure that you don't have to go to work at that age.
So in other words, you're saying you want a 401k for
There's gotta be,
musicians.
just some kind of intelligent planning so they could try to avoid that situation. You know what I mean?
All right, listen.
And you hear about it. You hear about like professional athletes, professional wrestlers that multimillionaires and that are all now broke.
Oh. A sad story. John Fogerty. I mean, he's fine now. He got ripped off badly by his management. There's a lot of those.
Well, I mean,
stories.
there's stuff like that, and that is even less that you can blame the artist. But
yeah,
I don't know, man.
there wasn't as much transparency as now.
Yeah.
I mean,
But on that
now
note,
Wu-Tang Clan has a residency in Vegas. I mean, what a time to be alive.
that is awesome. That is awesome. So on that note, I'd love to end the show on some more positivity.
Oh.
So there are very few, and we've shouted out a couple, and we'll continue to shout out more. There's very few sort of serious content creators in Central New York right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean there aren't a lot of people making podcasts. We're helping a huge number of companies start their podcasts here at Growth Mode Content, but companies like us creating shows sort of as a full-time business are few and far between. And we mentioned
our friends at, what is it, 315?
we mentioned Love Living Local.
That's it.
315. Again, I still don't know those folks, but they have reached out to us. We're going to have them on the show, and we love to see that. And there's some other folks. And I recently came across this podcast. I've been hearing a lot about it. I believe it's called Captivate CNY.
Oh, with the Alex.
It's from Alex, who started the CNY Women's Network.
She's phenomenal.
She is putting in the full-time effort to really build a strong and successful podcast. And I really want to give her a shout-out because she most recently did an episode that I think if you want to figure out what she's got going on, it's the one to check out.
All right.
Because she recently did an episode where she kind of tells her story. It's just her. It's not a guest. And she goes into what she did, how she got there, and where she's taken it. And I gained nothing but respect for her listening to that episode because her story is awesome. And one of the things that I admire so much is one of these things that people give me compliments for and I feel uneasy about, which is that she's just doing it.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many of these entrepreneurs we talk about and we see out in the world. They've got great ideas and big dreams and all these other things, but you got to just do it.
That's right.
At any level. And that's what she's really stuck her neck out on multiple occasions. And if you listen to that show, you'll hear that she's just taken those steps necessary to give the thing a shot. And it might not work, but it is for her. And she's doing a great job in heavily integrating that content creation and podcasting, which obviously I'm nothing but a fan of.
Yeah. And to further that, first of all, I have a young daughter. She's preteen. And I look to women in the media industry, well, in all industries, but in media like Mina Kimes from ESPN and, and Alex from right here in Syracuse as kind of like a bar of like, see that? You can do whatever you want. And I mean, look at these strong, independent women, like, representing women and doing their thing and doing it well.
Right.
And, the other thing, I'm so glad you brought this up because I think there's this sense of competition in every industry, right? Like, you guys must hate that there's other podcasts and through. No, the more the merrier.
Right? When you think about that, what a silly concept,
it's the dumbest. Like we have our own thing, they have their own thing, and we're all better together. And I'm not trying to sound kumbaya-ish, but one of my friends, owner of the Ithaca Ale House, shout out, John, taught me years ago. There was tons of restaurants moving in the neighborhood. And I go, oh, man. That's tough for you, huh? He goes, no, it's great. He goes, more restaurants, the better. It's more foot traffic, more people, more options.
100%.
But even more options. How is that better? Because they all work together.
You got to eat every day.
Yeah.
And you can't eat the same thing every day.
That's right.
And the same goes with content creation and podcasts. And you're absolutely right. And just, one of the things that I will say that I truly admire about Alex in that podcast is she's very, very much pro Syracuse, pro local area, which we love. And like you said, it's so silly because it's not like were TV shows that are on at the same time. You know, That's
Right.
not the
We don't have to
way-
pay attention to ratings.
It's not the way this modern content world works. You know, you go to Netflix and they got a million different shows. They don't compete against each other. You also have, you know, we do an hour-long show. She does an hour-long show. You got, you know, 20 more hours in your day to listen to other content as well.
There's
So,
room for all of us. And by the way,
just supporting this concept and getting the idea. And the last thing I'll say about her, and then I'll let you finish.
no,
I
I keep interrupting.
is that one of the things
say.
that she mentioned that really just made me smile from ear to ear is she mentioned how great of a tool her podcast is for networking and connecting with business people that she wants to connect with on a business standpoint, aside from the content. And this is a concept that I've talked about ad nauseum. It's something that we've talked about extensively with all our current and even prospective clients at Growth Mode Content that are making that. And the fact that people are taking advantage of that and realizing that opportunity like she is, that's a message that I want everybody to hear. So back to, you know, what we were saying, the fact that there are other people locally killing it, spreading the good word about what organic content can do for them is
It's great.
just awesome. And
And
hats off without taking
hats
my
off
hat
to
off.
Alex, and hats off. I
And
was
her
going
whole
to say,
team.
have you her set? The way
She's got a different one in this new episode.
she does.
Also looks great, but yeah, it's
But I mean,
just does a
the-
top-notch job
from
all
the
way around.
decor to the lighting to the quality, it's tip of the cap to you.
We'll throw the link in. Like I said, she's got a whole. There's a
Amazing.
considerable number of episodes. She's been going for a couple of years, but this particular one that is, I think, the newest, we'll link to. I think just is a great. She did a fantastic job of giving the idea who she is, what she's doing, which is awesome
What's
for
the
people.
name of the show?
If they want to, I don't want to screw it up. I want to say it's Captivate CNY.
We probably should have looked it
Something
up.
close
All
to
right.
that.
Sorry, Alex.
I
You'll
left my,
find it.
left my notes in the other room, so I'm reasonably sure that's what it's called. Though,
No,
so if
that
I get
sounds
it right, I feel like I should get bonus points.
Sounds right.
But anyway,
Well, I think that's it, pal.
yeah, let's
Tuesday Newsday.
shut up for a minute. and
Shut it up.
Send this to the editors and
Shut it. Send it to the editors. Well, we will be back tomorrow. We do have guests coming in, I think. What do we got tomorrow? Let me take a look real quick.
sorry, I just hadn't hit that yet today.
Stick around. We do have, in the next coming weeks, we've got some really great guests coming up, and you've got Matt and I, Matt Mazur, Mike Brindisi here on Good News York. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. And
Thanks to Danny running the board and
Danny Tripodi.
thanks again for Greg for
Yes.
stopping by the
Gregg
show.
Ordon,
Taking
photographer.
some great photos.
Again, CNY Headshots 315 is his handle on social media, gtophoto.com. So, yeah, thank you, Greg.
Peace out.